Hey everyone! With the second season of the Fallout TV series out, and it featuring the Fallout New Vegas region, now is a great time to give the Fallout New Vegas game a go if you've never played it. Or another playthrough, especially if you're like me and haven't played it for several years. Fallout New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game. While the graphics are quite dated, the gameplay and specifically the story are still great. So whether you are new to the game or a seasoned player, here are some basic tips to start your playthrough out as best you can. Please feel free to comment with any additional tips you have for the game. Before I get into the actual tips, the first and most important thing to say about this game is play it how you like. There are no wrong ways to play it. You can build your character however you like, and it will still be very good, and almost always well balanced. The developers did a really good job giving you a multitude of options, with not only character creation and playstyle, but also the type of person you want to be in the game. Alright, now finally the tips. Tip number 1, save often, especially if you are on PC, because the game crashes quite a lot on PC. On consoles it does seem to do much better, but it is still well worth saving regularly. I also recommend looking into downloading some mods if you are on PC that will help with the stability. For the most part, while playing, I did not lose any significant progress because the game does autosave quite often, but it can get a little tiring when it keeps crashing. For me, it crashed about once every hour or two. Tip 2 is all about character creation. You really don't need to worry too much about this. As I mentioned, there really aren't any wrong answers. The level cap with all 4 DLCs is 50, so you can pretty much guarantee maxing out most, if not all, of your skills, and getting quite close to max on all specials if you want. As a note, there is a perk you can take when you level up. It's called Intense Training. This perk will let you boost one special attribute by 1 each time you take it, and you can take it a total of 10 times. I do have a couple of recommendations if you are looking to get the most out of your build, especially early on. First, do not put 10 into anything. Once you get to the early mid-game, you are able to purchase some boosts that will add to your special attributes. The amount of boosts you can purchase is dependent on how high your endurance is, so I do recommend making this one fairly high, although you can add to it as you level up. I do strongly recommend putting an 8 or 9 into your intelligence, as this affects how many skill points you get each time you level up. This significantly boosts you in the early and mid-game. Doing this will make you stronger and able to access more things sooner. Charisma is typically the dump skill, where you can set it to 1 and have no issues. This is largely due to all the speech checks just relying on the skills and not actually your charisma. However, feel free to set it to whatever you like if you want to go for a more role-playing style. Luck is also something you want fairly high. Many people suggest having luck at 9 just to boost your gambling for easy caps. But there is an easy workaround for that if you want to assign a few of these points elsewhere. Also, as you are building your character, don't worry about how to answer Doc Mitchell's questions. Depending on how you answer, it will set various defaults for your skills, but you can change this right after talking to him. You will also have another chance to adjust everything before you leave the area. I typically play without using any traits, but some can be very beneficial depending on how you want to play. And the Wild Wasteland trait is also well worth it if you want some interesting random encounters. Of course, there are also a few exploits you can use to boost your skills if you want, but that will be a different video. I've put a link to a Reddit post that does a great job of explaining all the special attributes in detail. For tip 3, some specific skills you will want to focus on in the early game. I recommend Science, Speech, and Medicine as the initial tag skills that you want to be boosted. You will want to increase speech as fast as possible, because this affects most dialogue checks. If you're playing on hardcore mode, you will want to boost survival as fast as you can. Choose this one instead of medicine. You can choose either lockpicking or science. Both will give you access to several items early on, but you can also ignore these if you really want to. The main reason I typically choose to boost them as quickly as I can is because I never remember to go back to an area once my skills are high enough to unlock something, and I really don't want to miss anything. Next, you will want to focus on what you want to use for your main attack style, and boost the corresponding skill. As a note, for one of the first quests, depending on who you side with, you will want 25 in barter, explosives, and speech or sneak, and 30 in medicine. However, you can also use the skill magazines found nearby to provide a temporary boost for these when you need them. Tip 4 is to loot everything in Doc Mitchell's house. I tend to take anything I can, but as a minimum, make sure you grab all the meds and all the weapons. In this game, you can sell most things without worry, but there are a few specific items you will want to keep. There is a crafting system for several ammos, weapons, armor, foods, drinks, and chems. I've linked a wiki page in the video description that lists every item and if it's related to a quest or crafting. Typically, you will only need a few main items to support your character's playstyle. Everything else you can safely sell. As you play, if you're not a hoarder like I am, picking everything up, there are a few items I highly recommend you always grab. Pick up any cigarette cartons or packs and any pre-war money you come across. These sell for a relatively high price and are fairly low in weight. You will also want to pick up any ammo you find. If you're playing in hardcore mode, it does have a weight, but it's still well worth picking up just to sell. And if you're not in hardcore, it weighs nothing, so just grab it all. Tip 5 pairs with 4 very well. You do get a couple different permanent player homes, but these typically are only accessed mid and late game. So if you are wanting to pick up everything and save a bunch of stuff, there are plenty of locations you can use to store items without worrying that they will disappear. As a warning, there are some containers that do reset, so don't think you can use anything to stash your items. A couple notable safe containers that you can use are the containers in this abandoned shack. Anything you store here will stay. I typically don't use this one as it's too far away from a shop. The place I generally store my items in the early game is right here in Doc Mitchell's house. The 2 containers right next to the Vitomatic machine where you initially set your attributes don't reset, so everything stored in them is safe. And it's a quick run to get here when you fast travel in or to get to the store. For tip 6, there are a couple items that you will want to save. These are any skill books. Don't use these until you have the comprehension perk. You need a level of 4 and an intelligence of 4 for this perk. It will increase the points you get from any skill book from 3 to 4, so it's well worth saving them until you take this perk. As a note, the skill books give permanent increases to your skills, and the magazines just give temporary boosts. You will also want to save 26 bottles of Wonder Glue and 325 books. Any type will do, from the Scorched books to the nice clean pre-war books. These will be needed in the Old World Blues DLC. As a note, you can find quite a few books in the DLC itself, so you don't need to bring them with you when you start. And you can also return to the DLC's area after beating it, so you don't need to worry about carrying all the books with you when you first go in. It is also worth saving armors for each faction, as you can wear them as a disguise. Now for some more actual gameplay tips. For tip 7, your reputation matters. A lot. You start neutral with most factions, and depending on what you do, your reputation can go up or down. If you are wanting to get the most quests and rewards from a single playthrough, you will want to try and keep neutral or above as long as possible with all factions. This does mean carefully choosing all your dialogue options and saving certain quests for later. But if you're interested in more of a realistic RPG-style playthrough, or plan on doing multiple playthroughs, feel free to make whatever choice you want and see where you end up. In general, good reputations come with reduced store prices and often specific items. Bad reputations, on the other hand, can lock you out of certain quests and cause the faction to attack you on sight. The good news is, you can typically wear a faction's armor to disguise yourself, effectively setting your reputation back to neutral, so you can still access certain factions that would otherwise shoot you on sight. Just be warned, there are some named NPCs who can see through the disguise, so always save before trying it out. For tip 8, you want to talk to every named NPC. Many will give quests or help out in some way. It is also good to talk to them again after you've initially run out of dialogue options, as often you will have different stuff to choose from the second time. Obsidian did a great job with all the dialogue, so it is well worth going through as many dialogue options as possible just for the in-game lore. Tip 9, there is one specific NPC that you want to take note of. He's named Ringo, and he's involved in a quest in the Good Springs area. You will want to chat with him about Caravan before discussing the quest. Otherwise, you will not be able to get the deck of cards and the rules of the game until after you complete the quest. And you may want the money you can win from him sooner. Caravan is a simple card game, which can be entertaining, and also gives you easy access to caps early in the game, before you reach any of the main casinos. Tip 10 is all about movement speed. You move much faster when you put your weapon away. How much a weapon slows you down does vary based on the type of weapon. Larger or two-handed weapons will significantly slow you down when you are actively carrying them. So always put your weapon away before you head somewhere. You can put it away by holding the reload button. That's R on PC, X on Xbox, or square on PlayStation. This will keep it equipped for easy access when you need without sacrificing your movement speed. You will also want to be careful with the type of armor you are wearing. Heavier armors will reduce the movement speed quite a lot. You can unequip it to move faster if you know you are in a safe area. You are also able to fast travel to any known location in the game at almost any time. The notable exceptions to this are if you are near any enemies, indoors, or over-encumbered. Although there is a perk that will allow you to overcome the over-encumbered fast travel restriction. When you fast travel, just be careful, as time does progress when you do it. And if you happen to be in a sneak position before you fast travel, you will actually take more in-game time to get to your location. You want to be especially careful when fast traveling in hardcore mode, as you can accidentally end up killing yourself if you travel when you need food or water. And as a funny tip, there is a speedrunning glitch that allows you to effectively shoot yourself forward to travel at super fast speeds. And now, my final tip. Tip number 11 is the order that it's generally recommended to play the DLC content in. You really can do it in any order, but it does have a story arc, so it's best to experience it in the order of release, starting with Dead Money, then Honest Hearts, then Old World Blues, and finally Lonesome Road. However, if you like, you can switch and do Dead Money after Honest Hearts, because Honest Hearts is easier content. You will also want to be around level 20 to 25 before starting Dead Money, and higher for Old World Blues and Lonesome Road. However, you can get by at level 10 for Honest Hearts. But no matter what order you do them in, be sure to do it before you finish the game, as once you finish the end game quest, the game is over. You can't continue playing without loading an earlier save. Well, that is all the tips I have for this video. Please comment below if you have any other specific tips you'd like to share, or if you have any questions. Hopefully this video helps and you learned something new, or at the very least found these tips useful as a quick refresher. As always, thanks for watching, and please consider giving this video a like to help it reach more people.